Okay, we are recording. I've moved Simone over to the panelist list.
Okay,
Um, and then Madison, is Madison on?
it looks like, yeah, Madison's
Yep,
on.
I'm
Okay,
here.
okay, there you are.
Great.
Sorry, I didn't see you
Okay.
at first. Great. Are you ready
Well,
to go then?
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. All right.
Okay,
We can
good.
go ahead.
Thanks, Madison. Great. Thank you very much. My name is Matt Worthland. I'm an appeals hearing officer for Salt Lake City. I welcome you all to the appeals hearing meeting this evening. Because of um, the agenda has the 871 West 400 North property first on the agenda because that applicant has not yet joined us. We're going to swap the agenda items. These are neither of the items before us are public hearings, and so this is just something between the applicant and the city. And so let's get started with the first the variance request. This is for property at 1739 South Mohawk Way. This is PLN ZAD 2024-01017. And this is with regarding a variance request for the expansion of an existing garage, and we'll give the applicant the first opportunity to sort of make their case and let, just for the benefit of everybody, it's really helpful. Um, the burden is on the applicant to show that they have met all of the requirements of a variance. And a variance application is different than some applications in that if you meet one or two of the provisions, then that gets you there. With a variance, unfortunately, all of the elements set forth in the statute have to be met. So the burden is on the applicant to show that. And so I'll look forward to hearing from the applicant. I have been through the staff report, visited the property, well, just to drive by, not actually gotten out, but so I am familiar with everything. So you don't necessarily have to repeat specific things that are in the staff report. But I'll turn the time first over to Simone, who I understand represents the applicant. And
Okay.
then we'll give the city a chance to chime in as well. And I may have some questions along the way, and it's fine if it's a discussion as well.
Okay, great. Well, thank you. So this may be a bit of a curveball. So just for purposes of tonight's discussion, we'll concede the denial of the variance. I don't want to waive our right to appeal, but I don't anticipate that we will. We appreciate the thoroughness of the evaluation of the application. We understand that the standards for variance are very strict, and like you said, all five of those requirements must be met. While we respectfully disagree, we understand, sometimes circumstances can be interpreted both ways. What we do object to in the staff report is that both that the plat amendment was required in connection with the variance, and that the plat amendment must needs be denied based on the variance denial. I spoke with the city attorney this morning, and I understand that kind of the underlying concern that maybe the plat amendment is a workaround to the variance. However, that's how the code is written. Even the staff review pointed out that the plat amendment was compliant. And so it should be approved based on current code. If the intent of the code is to prohibit that kind of a workaround, then it should be amended. But there's no precedent to deny the plat amendment based on the current code. And we know that the administrative decision, for it to be upheld, it's got to be supported by substantial evidence, and it can't be contrary to law, which, we don't have that substantial evidence that the denial is supported, and it would be contrary to the current codes. One other issue I wanted to address, there was concern that the proposed design is front of the face of the building. I have 2 points on that. On page 14 of the staff report, that shows kind of a good picture of the bird's eye view of the property. I think what is being interpreted as the front line of the building is the windows that are above the garage, the existing garage. There's another structure of the building. It looks like maybe a pool house or something similar. That's significantly forward of that other potential front line. And the new design is essentially in line with that front facing. Another point, I didn't come prepared with this, and admittedly that was my fault not noting that part of the code. Just from recall from driving through the neighborhood a number of times, I do believe most of those homes up there do have garages that are forward of the front face. But for the purposes of the plat amendment, that shouldn't be a factor. The proposed garage design, those concerns can be addressed at the permitting stage. And I rest my case. That's about all I have as far as that goes.
And Simone, thank you. And I apologize. You at the very and I realize this is probably a critical and important piece of what you were saying at the beginning. I didn't understand and didn't hear, it may have been a bad connection, what you were conceding or acknowledging.
Yes. And I'm a slow talking mumbler too, so it's
No,
a bad combination.
No, you're fine. I just wanted to make sure I understood and that was clear both for the recording
So the
and for the
concession,
record.
yeah, the concession for the purposes of tonight's discussion is the denial of variance. I'm not
Okay.
going to waive the right to appeal the denial, but I don't anticipate that we will appeal that denial.
Okay. That I thought that's what you had said. I just wanted to be sure so we don't make any mistakes. Thank you very much. And so really, your issue and you're objecting to, obviously the plat amendment being tied to the variance. And I will turn to the city, given that the variance denial is conceded. I don't believe I have authority to approve the plat amendment. I think that was just included in the staff report, so everybody was clear about that. But I'm looking at Paul Nelson, one of the city attorneys, who can provide that guidance for us, because I do not want to exceed my authority and just want to understand sort of what all this might mean.
That is exactly the point I was going to make, is that your authority here, Mr. Worthland, is as to consideration of a variance. And once that's conceded, that ends your jurisdiction. Anything with respect to the plat amendment is still within the planning division's hands. And if there were some objection to that, that would be a separate appeal that would come to you later. But at this point, I think your jurisdiction has been extinguished on this matter.
Yeah. Okay. And I agree with that. And so again, we Simone, appreciate everything you've said and what you've noted for the record. And so my decision is just to
respond about that though.
Yeah, that's fine. Feel free to respond.
Page 7 of the report, I mean, it specifically states, the amendment is contingent on the variance request. I think that's legally inaccurate. No decision can be made until the decision is issued on the variance. Again, I don't think that's accurate. And then the outcome of the subdivision amendment is contingent on the outcome of the variance request. If they're separate matters, they're separate matters. So I accept the idea that your jurisdiction regarding the variance is extinguished if we concede the denial, but not the plat amendment and those legal contentions that they're contingent and reliant upon one another. So just want to make that clear.
Yeah, so noted, and I think that's been made clear. And so again, with respect to my decision tonight, and given your concession that ruling would be that the variance request is denied, and I can't make any decision with respect to the plat amendment. And that will have to be taken up with the city separately.
With that language, I'm satisfied. So just so long as it's not the broad sweep that the plat amendment is disposed of as well.
Yeah, and It may be, but that's beyond the scope of what I can do and say. I can only rule on the variance. I think the staff was just saying it was their position that that was the case. And I don't have any authority to rule or interpret that at this point with this staff report before me. So I hope that doesn't sound like I'm trying to give you the runaround. I'm really not. I'm just telling you the reality of what I can and cannot do this evening in this particular hearing with respect to this petition. So, but I think we're on the same page. So thank you for your time, and thank you, Mr. Nilsson, as well. So we'll consider that matter concluded, and thank you again for your
Yeah.
time.
Thank you all. It's been a pleasure to work with all the representatives at the city. They've been helpful every step of the way. So just
Great.
wanted to put that out there.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Okay, we'll now invite Mr. Fotu. I think I saw him jump on earlier. If he is available to join us for the next matter on 871 West 400 North.
Kim, I'm going to promote you to a panelist. You need to accept that.
Okay, it looks like Mr. Fotu, the applicant on the next matter, is now in the meeting. If you could just acknowledge that you can hear us, Mr. Fotu, just so we know you're present and can speak.
If you'll please turn on your camera and unmute yourself.
I think you're still on mute and we don't see your camera, Mr. Fotu.
Relax. Oh, damn.
Okay.
We're all out of.
Can you hear us? Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, no, you're good. You're good. We're all out of practice
Hold
on
on.
the Zoom stuff anyway, so don't worry about it.
Sorry. Our the volume is really low, so we can barely hear you.
Oh, okay. I will
Hold
try
on,
to
please.
I will try to speak up as much as possible. You still having trouble hearing me?
Sorry, I can't barely hear you, but hold on, please. How do I turn off the volume?
Can others on the in the meeting hear me okay?
Let me see your speaker. Go to your speaker.
Yeah, I can hear you. Your volume is a little low, but
Okay.
Dude, relax. They're not going anywhere. Can you hear me?
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah, we can hear you just fine.
Sorry, I'm Tim's son. My name is Naifotu.
Oh, okay.
So,
Great.
but I'm on the house also, but I worked with my father to build that house. So
Okay.
I'm just here to join you guys. That's all.
Okay. Great, thank you. So, welcome, and we are here. I'm the Matt Worthland, the Appeals Hearing Officer for the city. We're here
Yo,
to
Matt. I've been trying to get
Yes.
a hold of you.
Just let me talk first.
I've been trying to get a hold of you.
Let me introduce you.
Oh,
I'm just kidding.
oh, okay. Can you hear me okay now?
Yes, you're good.
Okay, good. So we are considering the variance request, and there are various setback issues and surface coverage of the lot for the requested variance. This is for property at 871 West, 400 North, here in Salt Lake City. And this is regarding PLN ZAD 2025-00198.
Where is the information? Yeah.
And with respect to a variance, it's important to understand that the applicant has the responsibility and the duty to show that it meets all of the variance requirements set forth in the Salt Lake City ordinance with respect to variances. And so, as you know, the staff report argues that the variance is not, those elements are not met. And so, Tim and Naifotu, your job is to help us understand why you believe that the variance meets the requirements under the statute. And so I'll turn the time over to you. I have both driven past the property and have also read and studied the staff report. And so I'm familiar with what the request is that you've made and also the city's response to that. So I will turn the time over to you to make your case and to explain why you think these variances should be granted. And then I will give the city a chance to respond. And then I like to give the applicant the final word. So if you want to respond to whatever the city has to say, you're welcome to do so. So I'll turn the time over to you, Mr. Fotu.
Yeah, my name is Tim Fotu. Thank you for taking your time, to help us to collect the very end, sit back. And let me go back to the beginning. Appreciate your time. And I'm over here, my son, Naifotu, and my wife, Fallen Fotu, enjoy us here. But I appreciate your time and to meet us, to try to collect this property.
Go ahead, you can still hear you.
And I'll go back to the beginning of when we first buy the property. And we asked the surveyor, one of the surveyor that designer work with, to came and look at the property to surveyor. But when we find the pin in the corner lot by the sidewalk, then I called the city on 2nd East and 400 North. It's an engineer. They told me to go talk to the engineer. Beginning of 2010 to take a look, check the pin. But in 9 west of the property from the sidewalk, they have like 6 big trees who are stayed halfway. I complaining because who can take care of those big trees to cut it or remove it? But then the city engineer told me I have to remove it because it stayed halfway, right by the pin on the 9 west, in the corner of 9 west and 400 north. So I have to remove the 6 trees. Cost almost $48,000 to remove. And that lot in the corner, all the neighborhood dump their rubbish over there in that lot. So I spent almost 50 grand to remove the trees, 6 trees, and remove all the rubbish, all the neighborhood dump in that lot, empty lot in the corner. All this year they've been dumped. But when I find out the owner, then I try to buy it. But when the real estate find out that the owner have like 5 lots in the Rose Park, but I think he tried to sell it. So when we agreed to buy it, then that's why I went to the city to find out those big trees and all the rubbish, see if they can help to remove it. But they told me I have to remove it myself. So I had to call somebody and they came and remove it. And they cost like 9,000 each tree to cut it and grind it to the stump. Because they told me that the corner pin, it is the pin, just go to the pin. And after I clean up, remove all the trees, and I call the surveyor to come. In the same time, the designer start to throw in the plan and make the layout block plan for the house. Then after I remove all the trees, when the surveyor came in, surveyor, he didn't go to the pin, he just go to the old subdivision. But I start to build a house and I move and I put the very end. I went with Casey to on the very end because the lot was small. And the case gave me the 3 feet from the east side and 4 feet from the west side. But because they told me to remove all the trees, they go to the pin, and that's why I went over 1 feet to the west side. After I work hard, that I do for go to the pin, when the surveyor a lot, I call him, how come he didn't go to the pin? Then he said that you have to, okay, from the city to go to the pin. So then that's how I stuck with because the case gave me the very end 3 feet from the east side and 4 feet from the west side. But I shift the house a little bit to the west side to have a room to work with on the east side to build a house. So then all this year I build a house and I work with Scott, the first inspector I work with is Scott, and Scott have to move. Couple years later, Scott moved someplace else. Then Tally inspector came and but everything he was passed if I follow. Some he said you have to engineer to stamp. I go back to the engineer to stamp and I follow up all the way until
2023.
Around 2023 August 2023 in August, Angela came to me and they said the neighbor complaining that the house is for rent and has 3 units. And I told her because some of my grandkids moved their stuff to the garage. Then Angela came to me in 2023 August and said that they have a complaint from the neighbor that some people move in for rent, but the house has a 3 unit. And I explained to her, no, it's not 3 unit over here. It's only one single family home. And because COVID, Kali supposed to came in and sign off the house, but Kali called me and said, oh, have some. Angela said, wait to have some stuff we have to collect. But then, that's why I worked with Casey last couple of months now. Casey tried to figure it out if I have to. There's a setback from the sidewalk to the boundary line is 6 feet. But from the pin to the sidewalk is another 2 feet, is 8 feet plus 6 feet. And plus 3 feet to the house, it's about 10 feet. It's
On the sidewalk.
from the sidewalk to the house is about 10 feet. But I give all the cases the drawing last year. Then he told me to lock in the applications for the very end. I renewed the old permit last year. the old permit to extend, and I have to log in. But anyway, Angela, I mean, Alicia told me to have to revise all the drawing last year, March last year. I had to revise all the drawing. Was almost over $5,000 to redraw all the plan. So I do all that and log in to the city. Then I have to pay the new permit. On the new permit. And I do all, try to comply with all the, what the city asked me to do. But the last thing now, we work with Casey to see if the city can be, because I have two seat back now, one from the road to the sidewalk is 23 feet wide and 130 feet long. Then another seat back, if I have another seat back from the sidewalk to my boundary line and another 6 feet, now I have two seat back to take care. But at the very end, a neighbor across the street, they have a pin in the corner and they move the fence to the corner. All the neighborhood, they moved to the by the sidewalk. But I guess the property was empty for the longest time. Nobody to collect it to fix it. But now I have a two seat back from the street to the sidewalk is 23 feet long. I have to take it every time I lay to lawnmower to cut it. They find me a note, they're gonna find me. But now I have another seat back 6 feet inside the boundary line. I feel like the rest of my life I have to take care of two seat back. So I try to ask Casey if I can buy it, the 6 feet. That way I can use the pin. You know, when I talking to Casey about the pin, then he said, oh, only way I have to buy it. Yeah, I don't care. If I buy it, I can buy it. But because I have two seat back now, I don't want to stuck with my life, you know, two seat back to take care. Because all the neighborhood, they go to the pin, but now I have two seat back. I asked the city, you know, when I work with Casey, they're gonna talk to the surveyor to figure it out if I can buy it or what they can help me to. Because if I cut 1 feet, it costs more than how much I build a house. Because I have all the electric on the wall, all the waters, and the gas line. But sometimes I think right now, I wish I just built a home for my grandkids. I live in Hawaii, but my son came here to Utah, 2005. This one here sit by me, 942. He played for the U. Then I decided to find a piece of land here to build a home because in Hawaii it's too expensive to my grandkids to come here and go have an education. That's why I built a home, dreaming to have a home in Utah. To my grandkids come here and go to school. That's the reason I came from Hawaii and build a home. But I know that I wish I never built it. And now I get trouble because it's gonna cost more to cut one wall and how much I build a house. You know, it's a lot of trouble to me. After COVID, I'm a two maintenance and landscaping, but I sick, start my health not 200%. I don't have enough money. My retirement is $600 because I owe tax in Hawaii. Now I have to pay some tax. All the money that I have to save it to build a house. Now I have to pay tax for the state of Hawaii. Then I pay $300 for the tax. And I pay my Medicare. I don't have enough money to build a house, fix the house again. And now my son here sits by me helping to pay the tax money. Now at the last 6 years, I pay almost $4,000 a year for the property. Then I build, the house, but I just need to ask for the city to help it's not a home for rent or free unit, they complain the neighbor. When I first built the house, I take the footing, come next day to put the foam. And then come the next day, the foam all stealing. They don't want me to build a home. They steal all my foam. You know, then all this time, 1 year builder, I have to put the wire fence to protect the material. The neighborhood steal all my material. I have too much problem until these days. I wish I never built a home that I have so much problem. But I just need to ask the city what else I can do to save a home for
Resolve this problem.
benefit my family. They just come here to go school because Hawaii kinda expensive to come here and live in a hotel. That's my dream, to have a home for my family. When all my grandkids come to school after my son here came to school and decided to build a home. So thank you for all let me explain I let my son have a few words.
Hey, Matthew, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? Thank you. Thank you, Tim. Thank you.
So my concern is, we have pulled every permit and like, all the plans that we needed for the home from the start, and had all inspection done while the process of building the house was going, right? So why is it that, this problem should have been addressed from the start, right? Before the home started going up and it's all the way done, and now it's a concern.
Yeah.
I just don't know where that went wrong if we had all the inspections done. Because we have everything in documented, right?
Right.
Um, so that's like one thing that I'm trying to understand.
Yeah.
And then another thing is when Angela emailed back on August 2023, she assumed that the house was a 3 dwelling unit, assuming, right? And that was part of her argument of something that we should not be doing. But the house is originally and still structurally the same with the plan, or that's from the start. Nothing has changed. So with her claiming that, it seems like it's a 3 unit dwelling unit, is totally false. And as far as her concern as with the what do you call, the lot coverage and size and
Yeah. Yeah. The
Basically-
coverage and the setbacks and those kinds of
Yeah.
things. Yeah.
so we cut the back to fit the requirement and cut the front back, which is the stairs to the upstairs, to have that requirement also. So the only thing that's really we're really trying to figure out is basically the west side of the home, right? And I just don't know why we were given the okay to keep building the home when we were 1 foot over. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, 1 foot, I mean, like, does to every home literally go to the set like measurement? There's no way. And I'm a general contractor myself, so I know for sure we're a couple inches, few inches. This is 12 inches that we're talking about. And I don't know, it's kind of a little
It's 10 feet.
a little like overwhelming that this is what we have to go through, and risking cutting a whole side of a home just to fit just some inches of requirement which is like, and going back to what I'm saying, like, it should have been, if it should have been fixed from the start before it got this far. But, this home was built mainly, like my father said, we built it just for the fact that we have a lot of nieces and nephews, especially for our family coming from Hawaii to Utah to have a place to stay. And that's basically what the home is for. And like, it's not to build to like make money off of it, to profit or anything like that. Not for rent, nothing at all. It's just a family home. But I understand there's things that we need to comply and get right, but
Is there any way to
Um,
give us a
that's the
variance?
concerns that I have.
Yeah, thank you very, very much. And you know, look, I'm sympathetic to, I can imagine it would be frustrating when you feel like you've done everything right with pulling every permit and inspections done, and I don't know, and I don't have any reason to doubt what you're saying, and that's really not, it's a little bit outside the scope, unfortunately, of what I can do in this particular hearing. But
see.
but those are valid issues and concerns. It just doesn't speak to the request for the variance. And I'm very interested in what you say, and then we'll let the city respond. Because essentially what we're seeing is the one side yard setback and the corner setback. And I think that is referring to, if I remember, which side of is that the
West side?
west side we're talking about?
Yeah.
I think, yeah, the west side. So the city says that there's essentially an 8-foot average depth, and or the setback on existing buildings is 8 feet, and so, or 8.5 inches, and your request based on how the property is already built would be down to just 2 feet. So a significant reduction. I realize it's only inches, but inches, you know, unfortunately do matter in the statute. The rear yard setback, as you say, probably isn't that much. I think it's a 25-foot difference, and you're asking it to go to 24.5, which is, it looks like it's 7 inches there. You know, the big one that I don't, you know, is the lot coverage, and that, as you know, has to do with how much of the lot is covered by the actual building, and that's a citywide requirement in this zone for 40% of the lot, and yours is at 49%, and so you're asking for that reduction. So I unfortunately can't, I can't speak to.
You said 40,
I
40,
think
but
40%.
But
40% is,
we're at 49?
yes.
Okay.
That's my understanding, at least according to the staff report. So, and again, I can't speak to, and I wish I had the authority to sort of make things right, to hear that, you know, you've
No, I
pulled
totally
every
understand where
permit.
I totally understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, and so anyway, I'm just trying to help manage your explanation of what I can or can't do in this particular hearing. It doesn't mean there's nothing that can be done, but you know, with respect to your reliance on the city, I just can't speak to that. But
I understand.
what I need here is, you know, unfortunately unfortunately for you, I should say, that I have a staff report that makes an argument that your application does not meet the requirements of a variance, and there are some very specific findings. And it's up to you as the applicant to tell me why the city is wrong. And so what I've heard so far doesn't really speak to the issues that I have the authority to grant tonight. They're all valid concerns, and I'm very, very sympathetic to what you're saying, but they're not helpful for what I'm trying to do, and that's make a decision on whether a variance can be granted. And so again, I don't want you to feel like I'm putting you off or anything, but
Oh, no, you're fine.
let's have the city respond if they would like to any of what has been said, and then I'll let you spend any more time and have a final word if you have more to say or more to respond to what the city says. I think
So I have a
our
question.
yes, please.
Can we reapply for the variance? Can we reapply for it though?
Meaning, are you saying, make a decision tonight and then reapply and appeal? So I think a couple of things, and I will also look to our city attorney to opine on this. But I think so one of your options would be to, I think, to postpone, to table this matter, to postpone it. So
Oh,
I
I
do
see.
not make a decision tonight, and you could come back prepared to address the variance specific issues, because that's all that I can decide as an appeals hearing
Okay.
officer.
All right.
I think that's an option. I'll let the city opine on that. And
All right.
the other option is to go forward, and I would make and issue a decision based on this hearing. And then you always have the right to appeal it to the courts, I believe, based on city statute. I'm not your lawyer or anything, but I'm not the city's lawyer. I'm just here trying to help where I can. So maybe we could have the city attorney opine, and do we have options? Anyway, I'll let Mr. Nilsson address any of
I
that.
don't know that it's necessarily a tabling as much as it is, Mr. Worthland. You could request additional briefing.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah. So, Mr. Gotu, I could ask you to say, hey, I would like you to prepare, I would like some additional material from you that actually addresses the variance request. And it candidly is, legal issues that to have somebody provide me with something from you that is a response to what the city has already laid out. So the city, in their staff report that I have, has already laid out areas where they do not believe that your application meets the requirements of the variance approval. And so I would be, based on what I've heard so far, I don't have anything to counter what the city is arguing. And so if you would like to provide additional materials that would attempt to counter the arguments of the city, I would welcome that and certainly give you that opportunity. And the other option is, again, I think, and you'd have to talk to your own attorney, but I believe you can appeal a decision from the appeals hearing officer to the courts, and that always gets expensive and timely. But
There's one
That's-
question, we have one
Yes.
question to ask you.
Yes.
If you can postpone, because I working with Casey about that piece of property, the 6 feet from the boundary line to the sidewalk. Yeah, I talked to Casey last week. He tried to figure it out if they have to survey again or buy it from the city.
Yeah, you'll have to work with the city on that. I don't
Yeah.
know anything about that, and don't know and understand what effect that might have. Yeah.
Yeah, if you look at property surveyor, I went to Casey this morning before I came. He take a picture of the surveyor and showing the 6 feet from the boundary line, the property boundary line to the sidewalk. Try to see if figure it out if I have to buy it or from the city. So they're working on it now. That's why I asked for postpone to see what case you're gonna. So tell me right now he's working with the surveyor and I think he's gonna let me know in maybe a couple days or couple weeks. But they try to
Okay.
figure it out. That's why I asked if you can postpone to see if what case gonna come up with. Appreciate it if you can postpone.
No,
Okay.
can I address that just really quick? Because I think
Yes, please.
I think what the applicant might be referring to is a street vacation. And that process requires city council and it would take a long time. So just to clarify that perhaps that's not the intent of having another brief to wait for that street vacation.
Okay.
Good point. So yeah, and I was going to say, I would give you 30 days to produce some additional written materials, an additional, brief, request that briefing, and then we would come together for a continuance of this hearing to address, again, the variance specific questions that are addressed in the staff report. If you're willing to do that, I would be happy to request that briefing. Otherwise, I can make my decision final tonight and we can move forward. So if you're willing to provide some additional briefing, again, that specifically addresses the variance standards
I
set
think that,
forth in this.
I think that's what my father's asking for, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
what I asked. Appreciate it.
Okay, good. So, and I'll give you 30 days for that, or at least as the city, as they're planning for their next meeting, whatever works on the timeline. But let's do a 30-day post continuance of this hearing for pending additional briefing. And so I'll look forward to receiving that, and then I'll have a fuller picture of how to make a decision on the variance. And in the meantime, you can try to work additionally with the city if there are other avenues to address. But with respect to this variance hearing, I'll grant you the 30 days to receive the additional briefing.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it for your help. And I worked with Casey, and he gave me the number of the surveyor. I called the surveyor, and the surveyor called Casey. Now they're working on it to see what they're gonna come up with.
Okay.
To see if they're gonna.
And please submit that to Alicia, the planner that you've been working with, and I believe it's Alicia, and then in the meantime we'll schedule the continuance of this hearing.
Yeah, I follow up with Alicia every week, and I just talked to Alicia this morning.
Okay.
To tell her what's the plan. I really follow up with Alicia.
Okay.
And he told me, yeah, thank you for. But I talked to her this morning, and I went to the city and talked to Casey before I came to the meeting.
Sure. Well, gentlemen, thank you for your time, and I'll look forward to receiving the additional materials, and we'll see you next time.
All right, Matthew.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Matt.
Appreciate it.
Have a good night. Thanks,
You too.
everyone.